So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this is Rosenkreuzstilette Freudenstachel. If that is wrong, I apologize immensely. Anyway, so as you can probably tell immediately, this first room is actually pretty difficult. So this is an anime-styled Mega Man clone. All original characters for the series. There are 2 games in the series. This is the second one. You can jump, shoot, slide. One of the major differences between this and a more classic-styled Mega Man game is that the Buster weapon, your basic weapon, is this machine gun type weapon, which has a weapon meter, although it's not super important, but it's actually very powerful in stages in that you can fire it and move at the same time and slide. So, okay, so here Creed is entering this crusher room, and there is a tricky thing he can do to, okay, I don't think he got it. Yeah, so if he had destroyed the blocks more quickly and slided better, then he could have saved a cycle here. Maybe BJW will get it here.
He's got the setup.
Yeah, okay, so BJW saved a cycle there, so that'll give him a little bit of time to catch up after that death in the first screen. Okay, so we're entering the first boss here, and so the first half of this boss fight is going to be consistent, but every boss in the game enters a second phase after their HP gets cut in half. And so this part here has these randomly floating platforms, and this part here can definitely cause the balance in the lead to shift here. Because sometimes you get good platforms, and sometimes you just have no chance of hitting her for multiple seconds.
Or there's just no platforms.
Yeah. So the first boss that we had fought here grants us 2 weapons. The Ice Lance, as being demonstrated on Creed's screen, and they also get the Strudelsflugel, which is basically a Mega Man 4 or 5 rush jet. The jet is the primary reason that the first stage is chosen as it is. Not necessarily just because it can fly. It has a speed faster than walking, so in instances where you can't slide, it's a faster movement. And also because of a glitch that should be demonstrated soon, where, so unfortunate here for Creed to be falling in the water and having a little bit of trouble there. But as you might have caught, and you'll definitely see it later again if you didn't quite catch it, if you are on the jet and you touch the ground while still on the jet and transition into a slide, you will have both the jet speed and the sliding speed, which makes you slide faster. Okay, so watch carefully here on BJW's screen. Okay, so there was a bit of camera manipulation there to cause him to clip out of bounds and trigger the next screen transition, and Creed got it too. So that saves a few seconds of having to go through this winding room instead of doing that. Okay, BJW about to enter the boss door. These spikes, although it's not a particularly hard room to traverse, it can be scary because the skip that they did earlier does skip a checkpoint. So if they had died to the spikes, they would have had to restart the stage, which would be a massive time lost.
So the thing about here on the fight is, depending on which boss you fight first of these 2, they'll come and do a combo attack one with the other. And this one, it doesn't really matter too much because she doesn't gain any invincibility frames from their friend coming and join, but we use it to kill her a little bit quicker by knowing what she'll do because of this desperation hit. Also, it's important to mention that you'll notice that all this time that when they're sliding, that it seems to be just one continuous line. but actually they're just chained together slides. They have slides,
3 frames.
3 frames
To,
to chain it all together.
Yeah.
It sounds really strict, but usually this ends up being just
It just becomes
one with
natural movement after you practice the game enough. So this is Schwer stage, Schwer being the classic troll of the game, and much of the stage is skipped by using some of these secret passages. So you can see BJW here falling into this hole and taking this tunnel under the dogs. Creed over here ignoring the ladders and, ooh, getting crushed by the E-Tank. Shoutouts to Shu%. There are these boots that you're supposed to take that are obviously inspired by Super Mario Bros. 3, which will be later in the marathon, but it's faster to fly over it instead. Okay, there is something a little tricky here. This boss will go out and into the pipes, and if he Creed getting crushed again, it seems. Okay. There was a little potential in that boss fight to accidentally crash the game. If he had killed the boss as she was entering a pipe, the game would crash. They have some gentlemen's agreements on what passwords to use if there are problems with the game, but BJW threw it, and it looks like Creed making some progress too. So they had just gotten the Schnee Christo, I believe, this shield weapon. This shield weapon is tricky to use because there are holes in the shield that things can get through. So there are some very specific timings for how BJW is using this shield in this first part of the stage. Alright, Creed gets the Schwer kill in 1 cycle as well. There's just going to be this long fight here at the end. Obviously the classic Mega Man disappearing block section, but we have Jet, so who cares? Do you have anything to say about this boss in particular?
You just don't want her to hold on to the walls.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, obviously since this is a close range weapon, you want to make sure that she comes as close as possible, and she could have hung onto the walls and done dive kicks, but she stayed on the ground instead, so that was good. Creed with a game over. Unfortunate.
She's also the only boss you can tie with.
Okay, so BJW is going to be entering Dolus here, which is, he's going to fly over this first section here, but then coming up is going to be this pretty rough climb. He's going to have to do a sequence of rush jets and rush coils, which he had gotten from Schwermuta. Alright, he got the climb. That climb is pretty scary. Got a Wispy Woods ripoff here. And on Creed's screen there was a minor trick he did where he had coiled into some appearing blocks, which had caused him to zip to the right slightly. It's kind of subtle, but it looks pretty cool if you see it. Oh, he seems to have missed reaching the end of the stage, which is going to be especially bad because there's I'm sure he's low on jet energy by this point.
So here with Dolus, you're wanting to see one of two things. You're wanting her to just jump at you to get the 1 cycle, but unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a medium length pattern. Could have been better. It could have been worse.
And the issue there is with that weapon, if you hit her directly with it, it does like 2 damage instead of the full.
Yeah,
8.
it's kind of like a weapon from Mega Man 10, if viewers are familiar with that, where it has one way to deal damage, which deals less damage than the more specialized way to hit with it. Okay, there, BJW demonstrating the jet slide technique I had mentioned earlier, where he sets his foot off the jet and touches the ground while still on the jet and then transitions into a slide. He'll do it again here. All right, Creed making it to the boss door for Zorn. So here, BJW will be entering Libya, who will be ripping off Magnet Man. There's a...
Maybe.
The game has a lot of various references and shoutouts to many games, especially in the game over screens, which we're hoping not to see, but every game over screen also has its own shoutout to different games, depending on what stage you happen to game over in.
Here's my favorite stage, Speedrun. This cool items.
BJW trying for a quick jump up a jet there, but doesn't quite get it. Creed falling down on this tough Dolus climb. BJW is going to try to fly through this tricky platform room. Okay. Yeah, he can fly through that and just get pushed off by some of the moving platforms, but not quite pushed off of his jet. This screen BJW's in, there's wind pushing him to the right, and that makes the screen go faster, but it also demands a little better reflexes on your movement. So, coming up to the boss on BJW's screen, this weapon here will cover the screen, but he does have to be careful not to get hit while using it, because getting hit will cancel the animation.
And you only have 4 uses of it, so.
But it's a pretty consistent fight.
Yeah.
Creed here entering Dolus. Let's see what kind of luck he gets here. If he gets a good pattern. No, okay, he gets the same medium pattern that BJW got, it seems. But as you can see on Creed's screen, you want to make sure to hit with the wave that weapon creates when touching the ground, rather than hitting directly.
And it's really easier not to hit her with it when she's dashing at you like that.
Okay, so BJW entering Rolla stage, the last of the first 8 bosses. Early on, when this game first came out, this was one of the candidates for the boss to start the game with, because her weapon is incredibly powerful. But as it turns out, having so many weapons going into it, especially with this mid-boss that's going to be coming up, definitely speeds up the stage. Okay, he got this really quick strat there where he was just ramming into it with a topspin styled weapon and getting damage on it before it dealt too much damage to him. I'd also neglected to mention earlier he had used the recent weapon that he had just gotten, which slows down time. And he'll be using it again here. This boss does have some RNG to it, especially because he will be using the time slow weapon, that it can cause her to float in the air for an extended period of time if she gives bad patterns. That's like that. You can see there she's jumping in slow motion, and
Not much you can do about it.
but he gets her down.
It's similar to Bright Stopper, where it has so many uses and you can shoot during it. So
Yeah. Okay, so with that done, BJW will be entering the second set of bosses, which are the Black Cross. They're kind of reminiscent of the bosses from Mega Man 3, although they won't be harder versions of stages he's done before. He has an option of 4 stages to do, and each one, they're all, there's no particular order in which to do them, and they won't give any weapons. It's just a choice of the order in which you get to tackle the next 2 stages.
So here you're seeing the weapon that you just got from Gorilla, where it freezes them and then they become platforms. So it had lots of utility, and as you can see, it's super
It has
strong.
much utility, and as you can see, just completely incapacitates enemies in front of you. He'll be freezing this mid-boss and then hitting it with some weapons to kill it before it likes to teleport in and out of the room, but freezing it allows him to get a quicker shot there. So coming up here, hopefully BJW can demonstrate this. There's this crusher, and you're supposed to go winding across the room, but using the freezing weapon, he can actually freeze these things, and yeah, okay. That's very difficult, actually, as easy as he may have made it look.
We have $20 from Vengeful Nemesis. Longtime watcher of GDQ, but this is my first time donating. Thought I'd donate during RKSF, since this is the game that got me into speedrunning. Good luck to both BJW and LV Creed, and put this towards killing the animals. The frames are more important.
There's not much that I've Fight to really talk about. You hit it.
No. Creed here looks like he's at low HP. Okay, yeah, he'll be taking that HP for safety. It's really easy to get some drops in that room because of the way the enemies are piled up and the weapon that you use to get through it. BJW here is going to be trying to fly through this room with moving platforms. Much trickier than the one he had done before, but he gets it really easily. If you have more comments, then you can go ahead.
Sure thing. Apparently someone took issue with my pronunciation of the game title, because we have a $50 anonymous donation that says, I will donate another $100 if anyone can correctly pronounce the game title, #German.
VGW, they're winding through some moving platforms while on jet again. It's definitely tricky sometimes to weave through some of these patterns while using the jet to speed up your movement over walking.
So Pavel is weak to the time stop, but doesn't slow her or stop her at all. So most people go, oh, it's not working, and don't use it.
Yeah, the time slow doesn't do anything to her movement, but the weapon that you use, the little dinky bullet, does happen to deal more damage to her. So BJW will be entering Shock stage here, and the gimmick here is earthquakes. So on some of the coming screens, there will be this giant Met in the background. He's going to slow down time to adjust its cycles, but every time this thing jumps and touches the ground, if you are on the ground when the ground shakes, it'll stun you. So he has to make sure not to be on the ground to avoid being slowed down. There's going to be a jet slide here, which allows him to slide past this gap. And then he'll have to avoid some of these falling blocks here to not get instantly crushed. See if Creed can get the skip here too. Nah, he's seems to have messed it up and is just going the intended way. The boss here on BJW's screen also has the earthquake gimmick. Every time she jumps and touches the ground, or sometimes she can just slam the ground with the hammer, she will stun you if you're on the ground. This boss, I think, being one of the really tough bosses for casual players.
Especially because the lower health she does, the more damage she does. So.
We have a donation of $256 from Nisuveo. Greetings from France. You folks have destroyed my productivity this week, but in a great way. Keep fighting the good fight. And of course, save those animals. For science. You monsters.
Okay, coming up here, BJW will be flying down below. He'll take a hit off that ghost so that he can... He was supposed to take, to have invincibility to super slide through that skull, but he didn't get the super slide, so he didn't make it.
Yeah, just because due to the super slide, you need to be on the edge of your jet, and if you're not, you can't connect unless it's like a semi-solid platform.
And it does appear that Creed is doing the same stage. As I mentioned before, doing these 4 stages, you can do them in any order. It doesn't matter. It's all personal preference. Creed's jet disappearing on him as he tries to jump on it. Unfortunate. But, yeah, both players opt to do a different boss order for this set, so that's why they're in the same stage despite Creed being behind. Okay, so this boss here.
So if you attack one of them, you hurt them, the other one you will heal them.
Yes, you cannot hurt both twins. You do have to hit the correct twin, and hitting the other one will cause their HP meter to fill up for the amount of damage that you dealt. Okay, this time here, demonstrating the correct way to do that fight.
There is a beat-like enemy, and it'll fully heal them if you use it?
No, it heals 8 HP, but it can overheal them.
Oh. Yeah, as you saw in the second time, he was damage boosting there. And that's usually how you set it up, and it puts you off a little bit if you have to jump and try to get it.
Okay, so coming up here on BJW's screen, I hope you guys at home are fans of Quickman, because the dev of this game is a fan of Quickman, let me tell you what.
So yeah, all these lasers are Quickman lasers, so they'll instantly kill you. So.
Okay, he froze that Met. Creating the frozen block does block the lasers, and then he slows down time there to get through without the lasers spawning. The stage here, it's pretty short. This is already the final room of the stage, but casual players playing it for the first time, it will still destroy you many, many times as you learn all of the laser patterns that are in the stage.
So now we have not Dracula.
We have Not Dracula, who will transform into Not Gamma from Mega Man 3. And he's a very difficult boss. Except he's not. The weapon that he used, the topspin weapon, which is a shout out to Mega Man 3, deals 40 damage despite bosses having 28 HP. It's a lot of damage. Alright, so the stage here that BJW is entering, there's the stage gimmick here is this gas or whatever it is on the ground, which is the sludge that you can swim through. It slows down your movement, and if it catches on fire, then it becomes instant death. But they move around so that that's not a problem. And then coming up, there will be some swimming sections here. This first part pretty tame, but then I believe the next room has
Underwater
spikes.
spike maze.
Yeah, which the spikes are only visible if you're close to them. So that can be a little scary playing it for the first time. Of course, these guys, they know how to maneuver through it.
So coming up here, coming into this boss room.
He's going to want to jump in the room, and then he has one frame to do another jump. He didn't get it. But that would put him in position to get a hit on this boss before it disappears. Saves about 5 seconds, I believe.
5 seconds off of this.
Yeah, he does manage to get an extra hit by using the time slow, but because the time slow does slow down the boss's cycle, that is where the 5 seconds lost comes from.
But you should be able to round him.
We can never have enough of the devil boss. Every Mega Man has to have one. BJW enjoying changing the color of his ribbon. So, Creed entering the Quick Man stage. BJW about to enter the obligatory boss refights. This room here, the platforms can be kind of hard to see. You have to tell where the sparkles are, but of course they know where to go. And then refights.
Yeah, there's nothing really special with the refights. Just want to raise more donation.
They're mostly the same. The first boss that they had fought before will be different because they have weakness, and one of the bosses will be slightly different. The water boss that they had fought before with the red-haired bomb girl helping her before, she will not be helping out in this refight.
We have $10 from Anonymous. Love to see BJW run RKSF on Games Done Quick this year. It's a really awesome game that I would love to see more of.
BJW did not crash the game on that previous boss, so I think he's breathing a sigh of relief there.
We have $150 from Tattoo Bob. Hey all, finally have the chance to chip in. Been seeing some amazing runs this week. Let's kill the animals and go for that Spanish Jedi Outcast run. Keep it up and good luck on the rest of the runs.
So entering the boss he had just entered here, he took a moment to charge up his weapon before entering the boss because the charged version of that weapon hits full screen, so that allows him to get the hit off immediately.
食らってみるかこんなもので狂い酒さあ本番だそんな優しくしてくださいね
We have $100 from Isulran. Hello from south of France. I love watching you playing games of my childhood. Keep up the good work. Baguette power.
I am a fan of baguettes, not gonna lie.
泣き叫ぶがいいわ
We have $100 from Star Somar. Solo Gu, we love you.
Okay, so looks like Creed had to use the time slow on the Devil boss as well. BJW will be setting up a shield here, and then using this other weapon. The shield was to get a hit in between uses of that weapon. Although I don't think he quite got it. I think he hit under invincibility frames. And then using this ground wave weapon again on this boss here. Alright, and then, so Creed will be entering refight stage. And BJW will be entering the final stage after that set of refights, which is just going to be an elevator. He's going to do a rush coil at the end of the elevator to slightly speed up his movement here, and then he's going to fight the final boss. So the final boss here appears to be our friend Tia, and looks like she has a lot of HP, 56 HP. She's weak to the Shadow Blade here. But then after her HP gets cut in half, Iris comes out. And there are a few patterns that Iris can spawn there. One of the patterns can spawn up at the top and cause him to lose time by not being able to hit with that melee weapon. Anyway, time will be coming in now. Okay, so that was about a 32-30 or so. 27. Okay. It appears here that Creed has been doing the refights in the opposite order that BJW had been doing them in, which was a fairly recent route change. I believe that BJW had started using this is going counterclockwise in the boss rush was what we had originally been doing since the game came out, but BJW changed his route, I believe, around March. Just see here if Creed gets through this boss. Okay. Neither of them crashed the game. That's definitely a victory there. All right, Creed getting the good pattern here on Dola. So that's what it looks like when she gives you 2 jumps and get a kill off before she manages to leave the screen.
And the bad pattern from Zorn.
Yeah, the wall clings and the dive kicks, jumping out of reach. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to say. I think I said most of what I want to say about these remaining stages the first time that we'd gone through them, so I think you can go ahead for more donations.
All right, sounds good. We have a $150 anonymous donation. Always love watching these events. Cheers to everyone making this possible. Let's hit that level 1 data.org run. We have $100 from Vulcan. My wife is a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, and we've both been avid watchers of SGDQ for a few years now, so we had to donate in support of Doctors Without Borders and some extra Kingdom Hearts awesomeness during the setup block. We have $25 from Anonymous. Longtime lurker, first-time donator. Thanks for many unforgettable hours and funny moments. To all the runners, stay awesome and keep doing what you were doing. Oh, almost forgot. Greetings from Germany, I guess. We have $50 from Dragon Was Robot. Donation goes towards Solo View for Sid's name in Final Fantasy VII for the awesome run. Thanks to Shrurikon for getting me into GDQ.
Creed here getting the bad pattern where Iris cannot be hit with the top spin, so losing a little bit of extra time there. But he completes the boss, and then time will be coming up as soon as his HP and weapon meters disappear. And time.
They got bounded together a little bit. So when I did some of my firing, you noticed that I've been doing some small jumping. So my buttons got bounded up. Not much of an excuse, but unfortunately that made the run look much worse than it should have been.
Yeah, definitely can't have problems with your control setup.
Yeah.
Oh well, good running away. Congrats, BGW.
It was a good race.
You think it was?
It was okay.